Hello, book people. PT here with a Friday Reads. This week, I've got two things that I am reading. First of all, I am reading Undercover Airline by Ben Winters. Ben Winters is the author of The Last Policeman, that series, which is about there's an asteroid headed towards the Earth, and everyone's like abandoning their jobs and abandoning society because they know that the Earth is going to be destroyed in a couple months. And then there's one guy who's kind of like trying to be a policeman in that world. Really cool series. I enjoyed it a lot. He's got this new book. It's called Underground Airlines, and it is basically takes place in a modern American society. The difference is that slavery is still legal in a few states, and basically it follows what America would look like. And I believe it's going to be about like the play is the Underground Railroad, Underground Airlines, people who are helping slaves escape. Pretty not sure what I haven't started it yet, so I don't know too much about it, but I think I know that guy's a great writer, and I'm curious to see how this goes. The other thing I'm reading in print, that's an audio by the way, the thing I'm reading in print is the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy of 2015. The series editor on this is John Joseph Adams, and the editor of this particular edition is Joe Hill. I love this series, the Best American series. I think it's really cool the way that they put it together. And this is the first year they've done the Best American Science Fiction and Fantasy, and I'm really enjoying it. It's pretty cool the way they do it. So they have the series editor, who in this case is John Joseph Adams. He reads like a ton of science fiction and fantasy short stories. He said for this particular year's edition, they read around 5,000 short stories. Then he picks out his best 80. He picked 40 fantasy and 40 science fiction stories. He sent those to Joe Hill, who's this edition's editor. Every year they have a different kind of like celebrity guest editor, so to speak, usually kind of a famous writer. And then that person narrows the list down from 80 to their favorite 20. So the other cool thing about it is that when it goes to the Joe Hill, in this case, the editor of the volume, the bylines are taken off and everything, as well as where it was published. So he's reading them blind. He doesn't know who wrote what. So they came out with 20 stories. I just have read the first one only, but it was awesome. And the forewords were both great too. The foreword by the series editor and Joe Hill's foreword, both talking about what fantasy and science fiction mean to them and the way that they've shaped their lives. Both kind of moving essays at the beginning. One kind of cool thing that I thought is that we're often talking about diversity in science fiction and fantasy and what that looks like in the modern day. And with those bylines removed, the stories that Joe Hill picked are basically like I think 11 of them are written by females and 9 by males. So that's kind of cool. I don't know obviously what each of the writers' backgrounds is or anything, but kind of cool that there's such a good mix of genders in there, even without the bylines on there. So, I don't know, just an interesting note that I had. But this year's edition includes stories by people like Kelly Lank, Neil Gaiman, Karen Russell, Joe Walton, Kat Rambo, and many more. So again, it's cool that some of the more famous authors' stories shine through even when he didn't necessarily know who wrote them. Though in some cases, like Neil Gaiman, I feel like you would know that was a Neil Gaiman story even if you didn't see his name on there. So those are the two things I'm reading this week. Let me know what you're reading, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye.